أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا. Okay, Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
I hope everyone a very, very good morning. Thank you for the audience. Thank you to our speakers today. Thank you to our moderator today for joining us. And I wish all of you are in a good health and iman. I am Farhana Banu, a project support officer from Masjid Darul Makmur, will be your MC for today, inshallah. Alright, so first and foremost, I would like to thank our audience, our listeners for joining us today. Yeah, I know it's a Saturday morning. You have to take rest, morning, malam. It's a hassle to listen, but I really hope that this topic will really benefit everyone who are expecting or even yet to expect or who are in the planning of expecting, even mothers, inshallah. Really, really helpful, really benefit, inshallah. We really hope that it will benefit. Okay. So before we start, let me remind to our audience, listeners, if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the comment section, and inshallah, I will direct it to the speakers. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce you to our topic today. Our topic today will be Parents to Be 101, what to expect when expecting. Alright, so we know what are we going to talk about, inshallah. Alright, so let me introduce you to our moderator today. Oh, sorry. Before we start, let me recite Surah Al-Fatihah first, inshallah. Okay, before we go to the program, we recite Al-Fatihah. Bismillah. Okay. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our Ustazah Inshira Ibrahim, our moderator today, who is a social development officer from Masjid Darul. Tafadhal, Ustazah.
Right, thank you, Ustazah Farhana, for the opening and short introduction. Alhamdulillah, thank you again to all viewers who are watching us via Facebook Live. Inshallah, as mentioned by Ustazah Farhana earlier, I will be moderating today's talk on pregnancy and childbirth, what to expect when you're expecting. A topic that I think relatively very close to me, because I recently gave birth, actually not quite recently, 2 years ago, but then I remember searching high and low for this kind of childbirth talk to better prepare myself physically, mentally, and spiritually. And Alhamdulillah, today I have another opportunity to gain more knowledge from our two invited speakers, two esteemed speakers who are expertise in their own experience. And they are mothers themselves, who I believe have their own unique pregnancy and childbirth experience. So here with us, let me introduce our first speaker, Shameem Sultanah, who actually needs no introduction. But just a brief one, Ustazah is a certified Islamic speaker and teacher come motivator in Singapore. She has more than 10 years of experience engaging ladies from all walks of life, conducting talks and also classes. And I think that shows how eloquent Ustazah is when she talks, mashallah, subhanallah. And Ustazah is also a mother to 4 beautiful kids. Thank you, Ustazah, for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
All right, next, we also like to welcome our second invited speaker, Sis Fadillah Yusope. Welcome, Sis. She is a former SCDF paramedic. She is certified in emergency obstetrics and pediatrics, birth doula and childbirth educator for 9 years, and a natural birth and breastfeeding advocate. She's certified in Swedish and traditional Malay postnatal massage, an avid cyclist, and of course, a mom to 4 beautiful children as well. Welcome, Sis Fadillah, to our show today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Inshira and Farhana. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah, Aisha, it's interesting to see how there's a career switch from a SCDF paramedic to a doula. Maybe later you can just share a bit on that.
Right. Okay, sure, no problem.
So before we just we go deeper into our conversation, just a brief outline for today's forum. Inshallah, we will be having 2 segments. First, we will get Ustazah Shameem to touch more on the religious aspect of pregnancy and childbirth. And then we'll move on to Sis Fadillah for the second segment to share what are the useful tips during expecting and her experience as a doula herself, inshallah. All right. So to get the ball rolling, let's start off to the first round with Ustazah Shameem. Can Ustazah?
Can, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Bismillah. All right.
Ustazah Shameem, before I start, just a personal one. I think 3 years back, you might not know this, but 3 years back, I have attended your childbirth talk in Al Mawadah Mosque, and back then I was not even pregnant.
Mhm.
Oh.
And then 1 year later, I've attended your parenting talk in Scientech, and alhamdulillah, I was with a newborn baby by then. And alhamdulillah, today I'm given the opportunity to have you again to share with us here today. And I have a 2-year-old kid, so maybe there's always something for us to learn from lah. So inshallah.
Inshallah. Maybe after this one more, inshallah.
Yeah, for sure.
Amin, amin.
Amin.
So I think to start off, we can all agree that
Mm-mm.
pregnancy is something. It's a blessing. It's a miracle to all of us, especially to women, right? It's a creation of human inside our womb. And I think because of that, Islam has given us a lot of guidance in how to make these 9 months pregnancy period a fulfilling and a meaningful journey. So, Zaza, maybe you can share with us, you can elaborate more on, firstly, what is the significance of pregnancy in Islam? And is there anything that is encouraged of us to do to practice in terms of the zikir or prayers, amalans that we can do during our pregnancy period? And is there anything that has been taught for us to avoid? And secondly, I believe even though the mothers themselves went to experience the birthing, the pregnancy, the breastfeeding themselves, but I do believe this is not a one-man show. You see, I believe husbands, spouses plays an important role in birthing as well, in pregnancy as well. So, what is the role of our spouses? What is the role of our husbands? And how, as a spouse, how can they be supportive of the expecting wife? And as expecting wife themselves, how do we approach our husband, our spouses, or even our families to get that support from them? So maybe inshallah, Ustazah, you can elaborate more on this. You can share more on this with your knowledge, inshallah. Fadal, Ustazah.
Okay, syukran Ustazah Inshiras, syukran Ustazah Farhana and Sister Fadillah here, Masya Allah. And thank you very much to the team of Darul Makmur, the MMBs. Thank you for having me here. Alhamdulillah, it's very, like what Sis Fadillah said, it's a pleasure and it's such an honor to be here. Masya Allah. I'm no expert lah, okay? I'm experienced in giving birth, okay, and sharing my experience from the Islamic knowledge. But expert is Kak Fat, Kak Fat
Eh,
will talk later,
tak lah.
InsyaAllah.
We all share.
Sharing. Okay, so
Sharing is caring.
this is not my first time with Sis Fadila. We've been together also, and with other doulas also. And I think I learned a lot from other doulas and from Kak Fat herself. If I want to list down the number of doulas, I think I know more than 10 doulas.
Yes.
My group of friends, yeah, so many of them.
Yeah, and some of them are your fans.
No lah, Masya Allah. But actually, we learn from each other. And so inshallah today is much more of a sharing, and I will share mostly number one on the Islamic perspective and number two on my experiences, inshallah. Okay. So thank you very much for having me. I'm giving half an hour only, right? Very short, to talk about
Yep.
everything. First and foremost, I would like to say that it's really a blessing to have this kind of talks. When I give birth, my eldest is 11 years old. Nafisa is 11 years old. At that moment, when I was pregnant 12 years ago, there wasn't this kind of talks, or maybe I wasn't aware, or it's not such, there are postnatal talks, postnatal classes, but it wasn't that this kind of extensive, or something that connects back to your religion, or what you should do. Basically, there's not much of it, or maybe I was not aware lah, because I just got pregnant 2 months after getting married. So a bit overwhelming, when you don't have it there, you don't know what to do, you only depend on the internet, but you do not know where to go. So if you are a first time mommy, it might be very overwhelming. You do not know what to do. Okay, I have experienced my sis. I have experienced taking care of my nephews, my nieces, and all that. But it's not the same. When it's you who are pregnant now, it's a totally different world. Okay, and you have that anxiety. You have that overthinking. You have that, what happened? What will happen? Can I get this kind of birth? So many things in your mind. It'll be very cluttered. And not helping that will be people around us lah. People around us telling us that, oh, you are pregnant, you should do this, you do that, you should do this. Then you are like very pressurized and all that. This is what I felt also, that I do not know seriously what to do during my first pregnancy. So I'm just going to share that a few things that today, and I feel that Darul Makmur has prepared a lot of sessions. And just now Ustazah Farhana was mentioning about all the talks and classes and workshops that you all are conducting for people who just embark on this marriage journey. It's a very, very beautiful thing. So take full use of it, make full use of it, and this is a blessing actually, okay, for us to have it right in front of us. So let me go to the first slide, the one that will manage the slides is you, right? Okay, number one, first and foremost, let's go back to the very basics, because sometimes the very basics is things that actually we lose sight of it, because we are expecting something bigger. We are happy that we are now pregnant, but first thing is the shukr, because that is what the foundation is so important. Shukr will bring us a long way lah. Will bring us a long way. Now, this is one of my favorite hadiths here. You can see there, ajaban li amril mu'min inna amrahu kullahu lahu khair. How wonderful is the affair of the believer. The believer, everything to him is good. So now that you are pregnant is a good thing. Now, why do I say this? Some of you, in my experience, there are people who are not happy to be pregnant. I've received a lot of messages that, Ustazah, can I abort my baby? Okay. Why? It might be they are not ready for the baby. It might be their first baby. It might be that they already have children and they feel that they cannot afford to get pregnant another time, and they got pregnant and they felt very overwhelmed. Now, this is not just one or two cases. There are many cases like this. And there are people who even if I can say it, they know that they shouldn't abort, but at that very overwhelming situation, full of emotions and all that, they ask me, can I abort the baby because I really I can't do this. Or my husband asked me to abort the baby because my kids are like 1 year apart and I have three, I have four. I cannot take another one. So these are things that, they come and they are very overwhelmed. So I'm just want to go back to the really very basic. Now, the believer is someone who has iman. We are all, we know we are struggling to have iman yazid wa yanqus. Sometimes our iman is very high, sometimes our iman is very low. And when the iman is low, these are times when it happens to us. You can't say, oh, astaghfirullahalazim, they want to abort the baby, she want to abort the baby, what is she thinking? You do not know. Our iman, there's sometimes it can be to the lowest, and it can happen to us. It can really happen to me also. So when it is really at the lowest, sometimes we feel like, I just need to do this. I just feel like I'm not motivated. Just need to get rid of this thing. So it's look at this hadith. The believer and a person who has iman, he believes that whatever that Allah has put in front of him, whatever situation that Allah has given to him or her, is good. Everything is good. There's nothing. He believes that whatever that if Allah has made me pregnant, is good for me, is good for my family, there's a way out. I know that, this is good for me. This is the first thing that you should know. If you are pregnant, it's good for you. You might not want to be pregnant now. You might want to have like 1 week, one week, tak lah, 1 year break. Then I'm not prepared. 1 week too fast, one year, like I have couples telling me, I don't want to get pregnant now. I want to wait for 1 year. I want to enjoy couple time first. Because I heard that having babies is like, you don't have couple time. So these kind of things, and then suddenly you got pregnant after 1 month, and you're like, what happened now? I already used all my contraceptions. How come this happened? So it's like sometimes that pregnancy news come with a like bang, you are not ready. I'm still at the syukur there. I'm still at the first point. Yeah. So first and foremost, whatever situation you are in, understand that and internalize that it happens because it's good for you. So have that it's good. That's why I'm pregnant. If it's not good for you, Allah will not make you pregnant. Allah already promised, la yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah will not burden one beyond his or her capacity. So if Allah has made you pregnant, you do not have the confidence to be pregnant at that time. Allah Himself has that confidence to make you pregnant. Allah Himself has that confidence that you are pregnant, and don't worry, you can do it. So when Allah believe in us, we should believe in ourselves. That's number one. So if something good's happened to him, he's thankful for it. So if you're pregnant, now you see the two line at the pregnancy kit. You know, there are couples who struggle to see the two lines. There are couples for so many years they only see one line. And you know, Allah chose you to see that two line. See, Alhamdulillah, in whatever situation, Allah has made you pregnant. Allah has put that in your Rahim. Rahim itself comes from the word Rahmah, which means Allah love us. Okay, so and Allah did not put it in a man, Allah put it in a woman. Allah put the Rahim in a woman. Allah put part of his name Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Allah put out of his name the place full of love. Allah put it in a woman. Allah put it in you. So be shukur, Alhamdulillah. Have that shukur. This happened to me? Very thankful for that. Okay. Number two is, if something bad happens to him, he bears it with patience, and that is good for him. There are couples, or those of you who are listening here, some of you are pregnant, are expecting, some of you are not. Some of you are waiting for many years. Some of you are struggling and crying. I know of people who every time they have their menstruation, they cry because they want to have a child. And Allah has not given them. It happened for months, and months turn to years. It's a very painful process. But if that's something that you do not want, it happens to you, remember, number one, that I said it's good for you. I have no right to say it's good for you. This is Allah saying from the mouth, from the tongue of Rasulullah SAW, that whatever happens to you is good. Okay, and if it's something bad that in front of you, you feel like it's something bad, bears it with patience, and that is good for him. Okay, this is sabr. So if for a Muslim, for a mu'min, someone who has iman, you have always have to have this thing. It's everything is a trial. Whether you have babies, whether you don't have babies, whether you are expecting or not, it's a trial. But Allah is testing your shukr, your gratitude, your thankfulness towards Allah, and your patience. So both are trials. Both are trials. Okay, it's not that Allah select this and then Allah say, I love you, that's why I make you expecting. I don't love you, that means I don't make you an expectant mother. No. Some of us have this kind of mentality. Is it because Allah don't love me, and that's why I'm not pregnant? No, it's not that. Okay, have shukr. Everything that put is in front of you is good for you. Okay, and before I go on, I hope that this talk can be shared with your husband also. Okay, doesn't matter whether you are expectant or not expectant. Your husband should be in this class with you. It's not for mummies only. It's not for ladies. It's for also husbands. Sometimes you see the womb, the belly of the mother grows big, but you see the husband has nothing to do with it. That husband later on, I will also put in how husbands play a very important part. This is a journey. This is a journey not for your wife. It's a journey for the both of you. It's the journey for the whole family. When I was expecting my second one, is a journey for my first one. When I was expecting my third, my fourth, is a journey for all my other children. So I include them in. It's not just me expecting. It's my kids. You are going to have a sister or you're going to have a brother. How are you feeling? So it's a whole family's kind of affair. All right. So that's one thing. And so inshallah, that's another one. Before I go on, is I just want to tell you something. Most of us, what we do is we wait for the destination to be happy. We are always looking forward for a destination. I'm a registrar, a conversion registrar in Darul Arkam. So sometimes I always tell the Muslims, I always tell the converts, sometimes we wait for, I can only be a good Muslim until I cover the whole Quran. I khatam the whole Quran. I cannot be a good Muslim, now. I need to for me to be a good Muslim, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be praying, I need to understand. No, 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 no. I tell them, it's embrace that journey. Embrace that journey. It's not the destination. Likewise, pregnancy, sometimes we wait for the giving birth time, and then we struggle. Alamak, later Kak Fat is going to tell you, your diets and everything. If you are going to look towards it like something dreading, macam alamak, ya Allah, must make this, must make that, must walk, must do this, it's going to be a very horrifying journey. It's going to be a very miserable journey. Embrace every step of your journey, of your pregnancy journey, right from the start, right from even before you expecting to be pregnant, right from the start. Just cherish it. Cherish every journey. So enjoy every step. And it's not just the destination. It's not just the pregnant. It's not just giving birth. So every part is a beautiful journey. Enjoy lah. Now I'm done with 4, right? Inshallah lah. Okay. So it's I miss that journey. Every time I see a friend expecting, I remember my last one is 2 years old. So 2 years back. So I remember the back pains, I remember the swollen feet, I remember the vomiting, everything. I remembered that. But it becomes a memory that is I cherished it. I cherished it. So one day you're gonna look back, one day you're gonna have daughters, you're gonna have daughter-in-laws, and you're going to share your experience with your daughters and daughters-in-law, and that is a very it makes you so matured. Okay, so have that shukr. All right, let's go to the second slide. Tawakkul. Okay, tawakkul is very important. I if there's something that pregnancies have taught me, it's tawakkul. If something that's motherhood has taught me, is tawakkul. Seriously, I thought I know tawakkul. I didn't know tawakkul until I became a mother. Seriously, internalize that. And my first pregnancy was Nafisa. She was breech. Okay, and I went through processes to actually change a position, but twice, and the girl changed back. So she was breech. And when she was breech, I had a very emotional, kind of thing, because everyone around me was telling, you how is it, you have to go through normal birth and all that. Now, what many people didn't know is that I myself was a breech baby. So I was a breech baby. I do not know whether it affected or something, but now that Nafisa is 11 years old, I can see she's a mini me. She's typical me lah. Her character, the way she talks, the way she said, my genes are very strong in her. So maybe at that time, now only I realize that she's very much like me. Maybe she follows me lah, wallahu alam. But when she had my water bag burst and all that, I had to give birth. It was an emergency C-sec. I gave birth via C-sec. I came back and I was very sad, because there was this relative that came to me, and he told me that he's a he. He told me that because his wife also just gave birth, so he told me that your it's not the same. When you go through natural birth, you are more of a mother. You feel the mother. Now it was a great thing to me lah. I just gave birth. People just gave birth, their hormones and all that. I actually went through a moment, a time when I was very stressed. I was struggling with breastfeeding. So first time mothers, that's why now everything is in front of you. It's very essential that you learn all these things. At that time, I didn't learn. So I was like listening to people, absorbing everything, making myself a very miserable person. So I go through a time when, even when Nafisa was crying, I felt like I cannot take it. I cannot take it, because I was struggling with breastfeeding. I do not know. People were saying, boleh ke, you have milk, no, my sister is bigger size than me. So they said, kakak kau boleh lah, your sister can lah. You, I don't think so, that kind of thing. So because I was very small lah, that time I was only 48 kilo. So
Ada.
so I was being doubted. I was being, I had this crazy, I was very paranoid, pumping my milk all the time to see that my milk was enough, not doing all the wrong things lah. So first time mommy, sometimes we learn by trial and error, right? So all the trial and error I did during the Nafisa's time. So then when my second pregnancy, I got pregnant. It was an ectopic pregnancy. An ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy where it was not in the right place lah. So mine was clinging on my C-sex scar. Okay, so I had no choice. Okay, I had to actually be injected by MTX because I need to stop it from growing. If not, it will grow at my C-sex scar and it will burst. And when it bursts, it is fatal to me. I will have internal bleeding. So I had to do that. That it was just an injection. It was just an injection. Okay, then the clots come out and all that after that. But it was a difficult process for me to end my child's life. I know it's not, the child cannot leave and all that, but it was a difficult process for me. I became someone who's very difficult to accept what happened to me. How come I had ectopic pregnancy? How come I had to end my child's life? All these things come to me, and how come, and I become very possessive towards Nafisa because I only have that one child. So I like, this is my one child. Everything happened to me. So you see, my journey was not a, wow, Ustazah gave birth for, very easy. No, 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 no. I went through all this and I felt that this is what that built me. And after that, after I was not able to get pregnant, I mean, I was not supposed to get pregnant for 3 months. The fourth month, I got pregnant with Ammar. So when I got pregnant with Ammar, something amazing happened. After 3 months, there's a blood clot and everything. I was bleeding while I was teaching. Suddenly I was bleeding. When I was bleeding, right, I I went to the KK. They took out clots and all that. I was practically driving. I was bleeding. I stopped the class. I told my husband go to KK because there's no time to waste. I drive my manual car. Just go. I put plastic, put surat khabar, put newspaper, go drive there, sit there. And then they said, okay, they remove a clot from me. My husband thought, dah lah, that's it. Okay, it is not going to happen. It's a miscarriage. But at that time, something amazing happened to me. I wasn't worried. I was I was surrendering myself to God because I had my first experience. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't. I realized that I lacked the tawakkul. I didn't surrender myself. I thought I could do it myself. It was not me, it's God. So I really surrender myself to God. I was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If the baby's life is not supposed to be in dunya, it will never be. If the baby will not be alive. I had this strong conviction in God. Okay, and Alhamdulillah, they checked and everything. The baby was okay. That was Amara. Now Amar is 9 years old. So
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, so that tawakkul, I realized that I went through a difficult time, but it actually I rise up higher. So mummies out there, you might not have a very perfect kind of pregnancy, perfect kind of what, but that will make you stronger. It will make you stronger. So here, wa may yattaqillah yaj'al lahu makhraja. Whoever fears Allah, whoever have God consciousness, Allah will make you a way out. Okay, there is always a way out. Okay, you must always do it. You're pregnant because of Allah. You always tell yourself Allah's going to make everything. There's a way out. Every time among your pregnancy, doctor tell you you have this, you have that, you have that, you start to be anxious. No, no, no. Allah will give you a way out. وَيَرْزُقُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. Allah will give you rizki from places that you have not expected. Okay, not expect. Suddenly, Allah will give you. وَمَا يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever is tawakkal to Allah, whoever relies upon Allah, Allah is enough for you. Inna Allah balighu amri. Allah will accomplish your purpose. Allah will make sure that whatever you want is there. قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Allah has set for everything a decreed extent. How long your baby is in your womb, Allah has said it. It's already in taqdir, it's in Lawh Mahfuz. How long the baby, when your baby is going to come out, how your baby is going to come out. Everything is already there in Lawh Mahfuz. So you must have that tawakkul to Allah. Pregnancy is a journey for you and your husband to really put your tawakkul to Allah. Because what can you do? You can put your hand inside the womb. You can shape the baby. I want my babies to have green eyes. I want my baby to have. You cannot do all these things. You just tawakkal to Allah. Okay. All right. The next one. Okay, this one, like what you say, okay, now after I go through Amar's birth, I went through another pregnancy, and that pregnancy, it was a miscarriage lah. Okay, but it was a very not a very big baby. It's a miscarriage. At that time when I experienced that miscarriage, I was very calm. Okay, dah tak ada. Okay, can. So when I went back, my nephew was telling my mother lah. Khala Mimim, kami bukan Khala lah. Khala, she is she crazy or what? She just lost a baby and she looks calm. And I said, yeah, because it's not meant to be. Because it's not meant to be. So when you surrender to Allah, you become very calm because you know you don't have any power. And look at here, Allah says, after that, I wanted to try for my third and fourth. So I was telling my husband, let's try for a third and fourth baby. If you have a third one, I want to have a fourth one. So he said, okay. At that time, Ammar was also born by C-sec. Okay, I didn't have that knowledge. I wanted to give birth via natural, but he was the birth was very slow, and I didn't know what to do. So when I wanted my third and fourth, I told myself, I wanted to have a VBAC. VBAC is vaginal birth after cesarean. Now when I wanted to have a VBAC, a lot of people around me tell me, buat apa, buat susah, for what, you already have two C-sec, just go lah, just go ahead with C-sec. For what? You want to have a vaginal birth. There's risk, blah, 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 blah. So I went to Dr. Chitra, but to wait for Dr. Chitra, I have to go to a lot of other gynaes. So I went to the subsidized class lah, because I just wanted to go and get it over and done with while waiting for my appointment with Dr. Chitra. Every one of the gynae will tell me the same thing. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Then I also become not sure. People tell you that you become not sure. Now this is the surah. This is the verses that I read in the Quran that changed my life. Alam nakhluqukum min ma'in ma'in. Did we not create you from a liquid this day? Who actually made me pregnant? Allah. Faja'alnahu fi qararin makin. We placed it in a firm lodging. Who put it there? Allah. for a known extent. Ila qadarin ma'lum. And faqadarna fa ni'mal qadirun, we determine it, and excellent are we to determine. So in this ayat, Allah says, we put it there, we put it for a known extent. Allah knows how long it's going to be there. Allah is going to determine how long it's going to be there, how long, when it's going to come out. This one in Surah Al-Mursalat really hit me hard. And I tell myself, I will let the baby come out whenever the baby wants to come out. I shall go for my VBAC. So this is what motivated me. What I want to share with you is read the Quran, read the meaning. Just read. Some people select Surah Maryam, some people select Surah Yusuf, some people select this. It's not the surah for me. For me, what is, you just read. Read, and in your whole pregnancy, when you read, you will come to verses which will shaken your soul, which will awaken your soul, which will make you a stronger person. The whole Quran has that. If I'm going to focus only on one surah, I will miss out at other surah. So which surah, if you ask me which surah should I read, Ustazah, you read the whole Quran. You understand the whole Quran. You read just read and read and read the meaning of the Quran, because every part of the Quran there is something magical. Okay, there's always reminders there for you to firm up your soul. Okay, next one. And then, of course, this is the ayat, where Allah says we are the one who created him. We are the one who placed him as a sperm drop in a firm lodging. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot. And then we make the clot into a lump of flesh. And then we made the lump bones. And then we covered the bones with flesh. And then we developed him into another creation. Who's creating everything? Allah. We can just see, oh, today and this time my child is 5 months. He's going to have this. He's going to have that. He's going to have. But seriously, we do nothing. We do nothing. We are not inside. Our hands are not inside, doing playing like play-doh ke apa. No, it's Allah who made everything. It's Allah who made. So we really tawakal to Allah. How our child is going to come out, tawakal to Allah. It's okay. Whether your child is a girl or a boy, tawakal to Allah. Tawakal to Allah. Allah knows best. Look at Sayyidatina Maryam's mother. She wanted a boy. She thought, a boy, she can actually dedicate the service to Allah. But it came out a girl. It came out Sayyidatina Maryam. And Allah says, Allah mentioned like he knows better who he wants to give, boy or girl. And a girl is not a boy is not like a girl. It's different. Allah knows best. And this girl that was born, she became Sayyidatina Maryam, one of the most honored ladies in Islam, one of the most honored lady that Allah is one of the first lady to enter Jannah. So we really don't know whether we want boys, sometimes we want twins, sometimes we want girls. What Allah give us is the best for us. So don't be affected by what people say. Anak pertama kau mesti laki some people with the old kind of thinking, you still want an heir. So when you want an heir, you must have a boy because you want to carry down the family name. Oh, please. All right. If people are going to talk, you are going to create your own bubble, and you don't let these kind of things enter into your bubble. Okay. Next one. So this is alaqa. Allah mentioned that we are alaqa. If you see alaqa actually has three meanings to it: blood clot, suspended, and leech. Okay, the word alaqa. So if you can see the blood clot, the blood is clotted, the blood is fluid but does not move around the embryo at this time. So this resembles the physical description of a blood clot. So it's alaqa. Allah mentioned alaqa. It's suspended. You can see that we are connected. You can see the connecting stalk. And then we look like a leech at the embryo at the 24 to 25 days. So all this is in the word alaqa. Allah mentioned this more than 1,000 years ago. More than 1,000 years ago. So sometimes we look at sciences and all that. Good. But we also must look at the sciences in the Quran. We must look at the sciences in the Quran, because Allah knows more about whatever findings that we can see now. Allah actually knows more. We should always go back to the Quran as the guidance. Okay, next. And Allah mentioned this also more than 1,000 years ago. يَخْلُقُكُمْ فِي بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ خَلْقًا مِنْ بَعْدِ خَلْقٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتٍ ثَلَاثٍ. Allah says, He create you. Allah created you, or in the womb of your mothers, in stages, one after another, in three veils of darkness. You can see the three veils of darkness here. Maybe later Kak Fat will explain more. The A, the B, the C, the anterior abdominal wall of the mother, the uterine wall, the amniochoric membrane. We are covered. Allah mentioned about all this in the Quran. So I feel, as a Muslim mother, I feel like we have not only the sciences of how to give birth, pregnancy, we also have the Quran. And that, when you go hand in hand, it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. Okay. All right. The next one. All right, dua. If okay, dua. When you don't just make dua at the end of it when you want to give birth. What's the dua when I want to give birth? No, you make dua now. Dua is not when you try everything then you make dua. If you can see after this slide right later, after dua is ikhtiar. Ikhtiar means your effort. Sometimes we said we do our best, then we make dua to Allah. I don't believe in that. I believe that we make dua first. Then with that guidance of that dua, the dua is actually to build our soul, to make us strong, then we ikhtiar at the same time. So it cannot be try our everything, try our best, then only dua. No, we make dua first. So Allah says, when my servant asks you, O Muhammad, concerning me, indeed I'm near. So you ask Allah, call Allah, then Allah will answer you. Anything you want, Ya Allah, what am I supposed to do? Sometimes you have to make decisions. Sometimes people, you cannot reach people. You cannot reach the doulas, you cannot reach people, you cannot be asking a lot. At that time, you are alone. So at that time when you're alone, at that time when you are alone, like now you the heightened phase, you cannot have people around you. Sometimes your husband is not with you. Sometimes the doula cannot be with you. Sometimes you cannot reach the phone. At that time, who do you have with you? Allah. The gynae you chose is not there. Sometimes things happen. Don't get that into you like, alamak, you big dua. You know Allah, I'm here with you. Okay, look at the dua of Nabi Musa alaihi salam. I have Allah with me, sayahdin. Allah is with me, He will manage everything. And that is something that I have in me. Like when I went through my third and fourth birth, my first and second was cesarean, my third and fourth was normal birth. Okay, and people were shocked. Boleh eh? Those kind of, okay, can I said, yeah, it's doable. And one of the things that really helped me was dua. It was really dua. I called up a mom who went through 2 C-sec and then she went through 2 vaginal birth. So I asked her, what was do you have any tips or not? What am I supposed to do for my third delivery? And then she told me this. She told me that you have Allah, you have everything. She didn't tell me a list of things to do, no. She just tell me you have Allah, you have everything. And she's not even an Ustazah, she told me that. At that time, we need reminder. Then I was like, yeah. So I really strengthened myself, read the Quran, make dua to Allah. Ya Allah, if it's the best for me, then make it a normal birth for me. And Alhamdulillah, my third and fourth was normal. All right, the fourth one. Okay, and this is a surah that you can read. One of my favorite surah in the Quran, Alam Nashrah Laka Sadrak, or ask Allah to expand your chest. You know why? When sometimes when you are pregnant, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of anxiety, a lot of hormones raging, and you can cry for no reason, you can be sad for no reason, you overthink for no reason. Ask Allah to expand your chest. When you ask Allah to expand your chest, something small might not affect you because the place is white. When you put a glass of water and there's lizards dropping, you wouldn't drink that water because the water is dirty, because the water inside the glass is a little bit, it's a little. But when the same lizard dropping drop in an ocean, it's not going to affect the ocean, correct? Because it's expanded. So ask Allah to expand your chest. Sometimes you have a difficulty, some kind of your pregnancy is not a normal pregnancy. You have to go through certain kind of things, so you expand your chest. You tell yourself, Ya Allah, don't let me overthink. Expand your chest and accept it. This is so, so important for us. All right, the next one. This is a dua that you can read. Rabbi habli min ladunka dzurriyyatan thayyibatan innaka sami'ud du'a. For those of you who want to have a child, this is a dua I read when I want to buka puasa, when I want to break fast. I read this, and I ask Allah, and then even after I got pregnant, I still read this. And even now when my child is like 11, 9, 4, and 2, I still read this because it's a constant dua that we want to ask a good offspring. Okay? All right, this is a dua of Nabi Zakaria. All right, next one. This is another beautiful dua. Rabbi yasir wala tu'asir. I don't read this just when I wanted to give birth. I read this all the way until now. So you know why? Sometimes there are some things which are difficult. You want to do something is so difficult. During your pregnancy, especially when you have toddlers. When I had my Zaid, I didn't have any helper. I was with my two other kids. With madrasah entrance test, with going into madrasah with this one. Sometimes things are a bit hectic. When it's a bit hectic, this is the dua that I keep reading. Rabbi yasir wala tu'asir. Oh Allah, make it easy for me. Do not make it difficult for me. Make it easy for me. Do not make it difficult. I was so affected when I was pregnant with Zaid. I actually drove and I hit a car. I slept behind the wheel. And I was like, I do not know why. I told my husband, it's so tired, I'm so tired. I said, okay, that was the early part. I was just very tired at the first part. So I just read Rabbi Yasir wala tu'asir, and Allah just give me the energy that I need. Okay. Fa inna taysira kulla asir alayka yasir. And because to make difficult easy is easy for you. When Allah wants to make things difficult easy, it's easy for Allah. So Allahumma tammi bi khair, oh Allah, make it end well bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin, with your mercy, oh the most merciful of all. You can read this. If it's too long, you just say Rabbi Yasir wala tu'asir, Rabbi Yasir wala tu'asir, the first part. And then you can say Allahumma tammi bi khair. Okay? All right, next one. This is also this is a hadith of dua. I think when we are in the process of pregnancy, it's a very good time to ask Allah for forgiveness. Let it go. You might have things in you. You might not forgive people. You might have all these grudges in you, and you might have even all these baggages in you that you are not forgiving yourself. So I think I'll do a lot of tawbah during the pregnancy. And Allah says, if you ask forgiveness of me, if your sins were to reach the clouds of the sky, Allah will actually forgive you. So this time of pregnancy is the time when you should let go and ask Allah for forgiveness. All right, next one. It's an amalan that you can do, a zikr that you can do, subhanallah wa bihamdi 100 times a day. All right, even if your sins will be as much as the foam of the sea, it will be forgiven. Okay, next one. Ikhtiyar is the last one that I want to tell you. Allah love someone who does his work as his best quality. Inna Allah yuhibbu idha amila ahadukum amalan an yuskinahu. That means when you do something, you really do it very good. You really do it. So this is where you have kafat here. You learn. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, okay, doa je, tunggu, okay, dah on khalas, read the Quran? No, ikhtiyar. You have to do certain things. You have to do exercises. You have to make sure you eat clean. You may have to make sure that you do this. These are ikhtiyar that you have to do. At the end of the day, you have done your very best. This ikhtiyar is very, very important. Okay, and this is the ikhtiyar which I can say I can really help me to attain a VBAC. Okay, a VBAC and VBAC to see my third and fourth. So it really helps me. And I started off with a breech birth, and then I go on with a birth which is I was bleeding and all that, and then it was a slow a slow process. And then my third one was I had episiotomy with my VBAC. It wasn't the really the kind of birth I have, but my fourth one was a very beautiful birth. Just came out like that. Birth, I managed my breathing, I managed everything, and she just came out like that. Subhanallah. So I needed a few birth, then I attained that birth. So not all of us are like that. Sometimes, even people say, kakak kau senang je nak beranak 5. Kau macam susahnya, want to give birth, must study this, must study that, must do this, must do that. It's okay. Our ikhtiyar is different. Everybody is unique. Okay, everybody. So don't be saddened if you are not like anyone else. I have a mommy who's like me, and then her third birth is C-sec. So when I saw her after giving birth, I asked her, how are you? She said, okay lah, tapi I give birth via C-sec. She was so sad. I said, look at the baby. The baby is alive. That's the most important thing. We have ikhtiyar. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that I go through VBAC, I'm better than you. I am a natural, I go through natural birth, I'm better than you. No, at the end of the day, we ikhtiyar, we leave it to God. Okay? All right, just move the thing. I think I'm taking a lot. At the end of the day, you want a righteous child praying for you, right? So this is your investment. In your investment in your child, it's not just in dunya, it's in akhirah. Your child is going to do a lot of favor for you when you are already in the kubur. Okay, so this is a very, very long investment. Okay, just move on. Next one, these are the things that you need to do after your child is born. You shave his head or her head. Akikah, that means you kurban, you do slaughtering of goat. For boys, 2 goat. For girls, 1 goat. Okay, this is a sunnah. All these are sunnah. All right, okay, all these are sunnah. Circumcision for boys is obligatory, so you have to do. Circumcision for girls is up to you whether you want to do or not. If you want to know where, and I think you can just drop me a PM, or later I can tell you where to, you want to circumcise and all that lah. Naming your child, name your child with a good name. A good name, a very good name. You're calling your child until Yaumul Qiyamah, you're going to call that child that name. Adhan and Iqamah, fathers out there, make the adhan. Practice, don't say, alamak, can I use the phone to put at the ear? No, you use your voice. It doesn't have to be so beautiful. Just read out the azan in the right ear and Iqamah on the left ear. Let that be the first thing that the baby hear. Okay, the next one. This is placenta. Placenta, a lot of people ask me about placenta. Placenta, encourage to bury the placenta. Nowadays, they have my friend Tamliha, Ustaz Tamliha actually has a service to, is it Ustaz Tamliha if I'm not wrong, the service to bury the placenta. So you cannot do it yourself. You can actually call people to actually do it for you. Okay, next one. The placenta is the one with the baby. Yeah, there's no such thing as placenta tu adik-beradik baby lah. Don't know what lah. Then please do not keep all these the umbilical cord, keep it and then put inside the water, let the child drink when the child is sick. All these myths and whatever that we should not follow. Okay, please, when you are pregnant, carry your scissors lah, carry your whatever. Please do not do all these things. Okay, these are not Islamic things. So these are questions that are here, but I don't think I have time to answer. But if you want to ask me, then you can ask me lah. All right. Then the next one, just go to the last slide. This one all okay. This one, do your best, don't bother about the rest. So you make decision. You, as a mother, you have to make decision. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, all these things. You make decision not because they are easy. Okay, not say okay aku nak pergi C-sec sebab senang just potong that's all. No, no, no. You don't make them because they are cheap, or I want to go for natural birth because it's cheaper. You don't make them because they are popular. Everybody said that, so I want to do that. No, you make them because they are right. And everything that is right is because it is up to you. You know what is best. You know what is best. I have no regrets actually that my first two babies are by C-sec, and my second two is the next two is by natural. I am actually very proud of that fact because I went through C-sec. I know how it feel. I went through natural. I know how it feel. So I felt that these are things that make my birth journey very colorful so that I can help others. Now I don't judge people who actually went through C-sec. I don't judge people who actually cannot breastfeed, even though I breastfeed my children because I struggle also with my Nafisa. So I don't do that because I do it. I know that everybody has their journey. So you just think about yourself, what is the best decision, and you do it there because it's right. Okay. The next one. Done, right? This is the last. The last one is this is the last one. You don't ridicule another people. Okay, you don't look down on people just because they have C-sec. You don't look down on others because they don't breastfeed. You don't look down on others because they don't feel like you are better than them. There's no such thing lah. In akhirah, Allah's not going to say, oh, you kau ni macam gini. No, no, no. Don't put this pressure on yourself. Try your best. At the end of the day, leave it to Allah. Okay, and don't make fun of others, don't ridicule others, and then don't call other people's names. Because I was ridiculed. Even when I was preparing for my VBAC, people to come and tell me that this is like your first birth, this is like your first time becoming mother. What do you mean? I was already a mother twice. You dismiss the fact just because I gave birth by C-sec. That was a very harsh thing that was said to me. Okay, whether you are giving birth by C-sec, whether you are given by natural, whether you are breastfeeding or not, you are still a mother. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And I think the last thing about the husband also, Kak Fat can mention, but I think husband, you play a very important part. My husband, if without my husband, I think susah lah. Cannot really. My husband is the one who really go ahead, like telling me, don't bother about people, do what you think is best. I'm here, I support you. Wow, amazing lah, husband. Please, you are not like aku tak tahu apa-apa. There is the woman issue. No, you are everything to the woman. Yeah, I tell you, the moment you say you are an amazing woman, whew, your wife can become superwoman, I tell you. Just by you say you're an amazing woman, I love you, you mean so much to me, you're doing a wonderful job. Wow, that kind of words lah. So please write down the script nanti boleh cakap. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ustazah Shameem, Sultanah. MashaAllah. I think, wow, packed with information, packed with tips, packed with doa. I think I like how Ustazah Shameem, but I like how Ustazah brought us back to basic syukur. Because sometimes we are too caught up with our surroundings, right? With people here and there wanting to give advice and all those kind of stuff. And then we forgot the basics actually to syukur, And I remember also the verse in Quran, Allah say, La in shakartum la azidannakum. If you be thankful, I will multiple it. So I think, mashallah. And secondly, I think one more important is don't be affected by what other people say. I think all mothers have to really pin that into don't be affected. You do you. It's your body. You are control of it. All right. So inshallah, thank you again, Ustazah Shameem. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the second segment. We have Sis Fadillah here next to share with us her knowledge as a doula. MashaAllah, personally, I really, really love listening to doula talks, They have this, they give off these positive vibes, uplifting vibes, instilling confidence to expecting mothers, especially first-time mothers. For me, I think first-time mothers really need those confidence. And they are all like, you can do it, you are in control of your own body, read, educate, you make informed decision, etc., etc. And I'm so excited to listen more from our doula here, Sis Fadillah Yusope. To start off, Sis Fadillah, as a doula with 9 years of experience, mashallah. Firstly, what is the core or important advice that you would give to expecting mothers? I mean, the most important that, this is the advice that you would give to all of your couples that is expecting. And secondly, naturally, certainly, majority, I think, mothers would want a natural labor with less intervention or no intervention, right? So,
Right.
are there any tips in terms of diets or activities, the do's and don'ts that we could stick to throughout the 9 months period that can lead us to a natural labor in our D-Day lah, in our due date, inshallah?
Okay.
And lastly, our mothers have went through the first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester, and we thought we have gone through the worst. The morning sickness, the cramps, the pains, the contraction, and all. But then, boom, come the fourth trimester, and I think, personally, I think fourth trimester is the most challenging one, and more often than not, we sometimes the fourth trimester can lead us to postpartum depression. So how real is this postpartum post-delivery depression, and what are the ways to prevent it, and if not, overcome it? So inshallah, I will let you elaborate and enlighten us with your knowledge, inshallah. Over to you, sis.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, Ustazah Shameem. That was really awesome. I always love to hear your advice. And you are very, very right, in the sense that moms should always listen to themselves. I tell every couple, every body is your own body. So, and women, we have a very high intuition, even more than men. And this intuition should also be listened to, and this intuition should be developed and honed by a lot of quiet meditation, a lot of amalan, and then you can actually listen to your little voice inside that tells you, you know what, this is right for me. And then exactly what you said lah, about not listening to everybody else. Well, you can take their advice into consideration, but again, listen to yourself. Be mindful of that little voice, because that is also from Allah SWT. Okay, thank you so much, Sis Inshira. The first thing that I would tell all the couples preparing for pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum is knowledge. Again, the same thing when Rasulullah SAW wanted to change society, wanted to establish Islam. It was all through knowledge first. Iqra. So the first thing is read, and then fortify yourself with knowledge. Then from there you can make your informed decision. If you make a decision, sometimes you don't really have all the proper information, the complete information, then you can't really form an idea of what you need to do, and what your plan is. So with the information, you get that proper idea, plan your what you're going to do for the next few months, and then execute it. Then that is usually inshallah, may Allah place barakah on your efforts, and usually it will get you to your goals. Okay, so what to expect when expecting? Next slide. Can't really see this one. Okay, right. So pregnancy is a special time for everyone, especially first timers. If those of you who are pregnant, mabruk, alhamdulillah, congratulations on your pregnancy. And I remember being pregnant for the first time. I actually wanted a child since I was 8 years old. That is my goal. My ambition is to be a mom. So, and then I was really excited. I was so happy to be pregnant for the first one. I'm so looking forward to even giving birth. Right, like a lot of people are on top of, hey, awesome, alhamdulillah, I'm pregnant. So what next? And then the thoughts, right? Oh my God, I'm going to give birth. It's so painful. I heard everybody say this and that. But I was, if I didn't know what it was giving birth, I was actually looking forward to giving birth. Looking forward to the whole baby process. So it was like you know what? If there's pain, bring it on. So that is again what Ustazah Shameem said. Be positive. You know, everything is good. Right? Look at it as it's a good thing. You know, if there's going to be pain, there must be a reason why Allah made it that way. So, you know, look at it positively. Right? So again, the few things that you need to do when you start off being pregnant, actually, I would like to say if you can, right, and you're planning to be pregnant, at least 6 months, prepare your body in terms of preconception nutrition, in terms of balancing out your hormones, in terms of addressing your nutritional deficiencies. All these need to be done before you are pregnant. Because when you are pregnant, sometimes you don't know that you are pregnant until maybe a month later, right? When you check, how come my period is not here? Then you check, oh, I'm pregnant. So what was the baby feeding on? The baby was feeding on and growing on the nutritional on the food that you ate for the couple of months before that. So, you know, when you're trying for a baby, address your nutrition first, and then after that, you know, try to attempt to get pregnant. So a couple of things: nutrition, exercise. This is what you know, I'll be addressing. Hopefully there'll be enough time, right? Different trimesters, what you're going to do, tips for labor, and then this mental health. Actually, mental health, every one of these topics deserve at least a couple of hours of discussion. But mental health is really something for us, especially during this COVID era, where a lot of moms are stressed out and uncertain, especially, you know, our finances are affected. And I find that a lot of couples are not really planning to get pregnant during this time, because things are a bit tight for them. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay. Again, just as Ustazah Shameem said, you start off with niat, right? You start off niat, and then you dua, and then you do all the rest, right? So the niat is that health is an amanah. Like, you know, I share a lot on nutrition and exercise, on the importance of that for pregnant women and all that. But you know, it's not about the physical health and all that. It's not about looking good. It's not about, you know, losing weight. All that is secondary. The primary reason why you do all this is that it is an amanah from Allah. Our bodies are an amanah. It is a loan. So when Allah gave us, you know, gave this body to us, it is near perfect. In fact, it's perfect lah. You know, when you look at your newborn baby, how perfect, how beautiful the skin, how beautiful the face, the hair, the eyes. You know, Allah gave this body to us near perfect or perfect, right? And then we are tasked to look at it, to take care of it as an amanah. So that is something that should be the driver behind all your efforts. That is, when you exercise, it is lillahi ta'ala. When you eat, all the things that, you know, you read, okay, this is good for baby, this is good for you, this is lillahi ta'ala. So from there, then you execute whatever plan you need to do, right? So your health is an amanah. And then from there, you look at nutrition as an amanah, exercise as an amanah, and then the relaxation phase and rest as an amanah also. So everything, every aspect of your physical health has its rights. So you have to give it its rights. Your body has rights, so you give it its rights. Yeah. So in terms of nutrition, when you go to the gynae and all that, the gynae will give you supplements like iron, like multivites, folate, and all that. But these are not substitutes to a good diet. Supplement, the name supplement is just an addition to top up in case there is a shortfall. But people use it, okay, since I'm taking iron supplement, then I don't need to, you know, actually eat a lot of the iron stuff. And then a lot of you know, students come to me and say, Kak Fad, I don't really eat veggies. I'm not a veggie eater. You know, then you actually are relying on your supplements, which, you know, incidentally has only about 50% absorption rate in your gut. So you're not really absorbing every single thing. For example, if it's a 500 milligrams of iron, you're not going to absorb 500 milligrams of iron. Maybe you absorb, depending on the condition of your intestines and your digestion and the absorption rate, you probably will just take about 50% to 30%. Some of them with the microbiome not functioning well, they only absorb 10%, 20%. So, supplements are not substitutes. You have to actually eat the food in order to get in the protein, your macronutrients, the protein, your carbohydrates, your vitamins, your minerals. Yeah. Okay, and then modern diet danger. The modern diet is very dangerous to everybody. It is a lot of sugar, and sugar is the main culprit for high blood pressure, heart problem, stroke, diabetes, everything. Sugar causes inflammation. Sugar makes your body a good environment for cancer. Sugar is extremely dangerous. And then, but sugar is, the mainstay of our modern diet. Um, the bubble teas, the lots of pastries, the cakes, everything that is sugary that is put. Even nowadays, all our the food that you buy outside, curries, sambal, everything is added sugar. So all this is causing our women to not be in optimal health, and are causing a lot of so-called old people issues like stroke, like osteoarthritis, like high blood pressure, sudden cardiac arrest. All this in people who are actually very, very young. For me, for the medical side, 30s, 20s, they're all young, very, very young. And yet, people nowadays, more and more people are dying because of, old people issues, right? So they are not old people issues. They are actually illnesses brought on by, the modern diet, actually, right? So you have to kind of go back to what I term as our Nusantara diet. The Nusantara diet is our local diet, which was practiced by our forefathers, our grandmothers, our grandparents, like many, many years, hundreds, thousands of years ago, where you eat our local, our local produce, right? And how the Malays ate was actually a lot of greens, right? A lot of ulam, ulam raja, ulam pegaga, a lot of greens that are also raw and also cooked. And then that should be the mainstay of our diet, which is whole food, right? And plant-based. And then, of course, you have your animal protein, right? And then you have to address your deficiencies. And nowadays, I am actually seeing a lot of mummies. In fact, majority of mummies deficient in iron, zinc, magnesium, and folate. And these again are found in green leafy vegetables. Again and again, I will always emphasize to do a plant-based diet. You're not going vegan. You're just mostly eating a lot of greens and veg. And this will actually top up the deficiencies. And the iron and all these, the iron, the folate, magnesium, zinc, these are all causes of some abnormalities of growth in your fetus, right? Especially the brain function and the heart function. So, it is very, very important for everyone to get tested in the first place. Don't like agak-agak lah, I think I low in iron. No, get tested. And then you really find out for sure that you are deficient and that this deficiency has to be addressed in order to grow a healthy baby in your stomach, right? So again, whole food, plant-based, that's nutrition, right? For exercise, again, health as an amanah. So work up from there. Humans are built to move. If you stay static, right, you will bring on illnesses that come with staying static. So you are actually, we are all supposed to be moving a lot throughout the day. So for a pregnant woman, do not like sit for 2 hours straight. without getting up. 2 hours should be like your maximum sitting down period lah. So you should. For some people who actually are desk bound jobs and all that, every 2 hours you set a timer, get up and move at least, so you don't sit too long, because that would not help with the blood circulation to your baby. Yeah. So humans are built to move, and exercise avoids a lot of the pregnancy, labor and birth complications for you. Sometimes your muscles and your pelvic positioning is not optimum, right? And then it does cause some malposition of the baby, like breech, asynclitic, sengit-sengit, all these things. So with the exercise, it would actually help to loosen up the ligaments and the muscles that are contracted or stiff, or due to inactivity, and then it will actually help the baby to go into a normal position, and then go into a natural birth lah. You sometimes from outside you cannot see that, my muscles are tight and the baby actually wants to go down, but is prevented from my tight oblique muscles, these kind of things. So you wouldn't know when you look at your body from outside, you wouldn't know. So you have to kind of get tested. For me, I'm a big proponent of, let's define it properly, rather than aku agak-agak, aku stiff, aku agak-agak. I kind of like, okay, you cannot agak-agak, you gotta know for sure. If you know for sure, then from there you make an informed decision. Okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I don't need to do. Because sometimes you think you need to do something, actually that's not the right thing for you to do. You need to do another thing. And how would you know if you were not tested? So like that lah. Right. So unconscious versus conscious exercise. Last time, our forefathers did incidental activity as an unconscious exercise. Like, because their lifestyle was so active, so they have to work the land, they have to walk and get the water, they have to do a lot of things. So they were unconsciously exercising lah. But now, because of the modern lifestyle, and then because of convenience, then we actually need to consciously, not yet, dear. Can go back. We need to consciously exercise. Inshira, can you go back to the previous? Yeah, right. So you need to consciously exercise in order to optimize your health. And then, of course, make it fun. Get a couple of friends and then go together. It's more fun that way. Like when I cycle alone and I cycle with the peloton, of course, cycle with a group of friends is more fun. You chase each other, you get breathless together, and then of course you get your exercise done, but you don't feel it. And when I do birth walks, which are actually walks with my pregnant clients, and these are very long walks, they're about 8 kilometers to 10 kilometers per session of walk. And my clients, parents, friends, they'll be very surprised that, what, you are pregnant and you walk 10 kilometers every single week. How do you do that? You know what I do? I just talk to them. So we chit chat. At the end of the walk, I show them the Strava. I said, you know what? Here's the thing. You have done 10 kilometers. Like, what? Really? I did it. Yeah, you did it. You see, it's more fun that way. So walk with a friend, and then just go ahead and make it as fun as you can. When it's fun, you don't feel it so tiring lah. Okay, so then hold on. Okay, active recovery, good quality sleep, deep breathing and stretching. So rest can be active and can be passive. Usually people say, rest, aku rest. But sometimes, you know what, when you rest and you sleep, you're not actually resting, because you did not wind down from your activity. So before you rest, you make sure that you are going to be fully rested. And how are you going to do that? Stretch it out after your exercise. Go home, stretch it out, do deep breathing, right? An example of the deep breathing is 4 seconds inhalation, pause for about 2 seconds, and then breathe out, exhale for about 6 seconds, right? Do this for a period of 10 minutes, right? And then you will feel that actually your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, you feel more relaxed, and then you'll be able to have a better quality sleep. So you kind of have to wind down from your exercise, and then you have this active recovery means what? You do, after your bout of intense exercise, you do a very gentle exercise. So you kind of get things moving, whatever waste products at your muscles and your joints, you get it going with your blood circulation, and then your body can eliminate the waste products better, right? And then, right. So yoga is very good, right? For those of you who want to do pregnancy yoga, is very gentle, but yoga and aerobic exercise, they are two different things. Some of them they say, but Kak, I do yoga, that one not enough. I must walk also. They are different forms of exercise, and they target different things. The aerobic exercise, the walking and all that, is actually for your heart and your blood circulation, right? The yoga is mostly, they incorporate strength and also, relaxation and stretching, right? So that's another one. And then if they want to, they can do weight training, which will strengthen your muscles and especially your core muscles, which is very important in order to push the baby out. So these different forms of exercise, they target different muscles, and then they are different good functions for your body. So it's not enough to just do one. If you walk only, okay lah. But if you can put, yoga inside, if you can put weight training inside, and put in stretching, these are all beneficial, and then you are all rounded, healthy. Okay, next. Right, so here's your pregnancy plate. Again, like I said, it has to be largely veggies. So half of your plate, and don't take a whole plate and then put half of that whole plate, uh, all the veg. Remember that your stomach is only the size of your fist. So everybody, you can look at your fist. This is your stomach size. So, don't overeat. Your stomach can only expand, but you shouldn't like push a lot of food in it, then expand until the plate size, right? So it's like this. So you should like, about half of that is all your non-starchy veg or your green leafy veg, right? So that will, green leafy veg contain iron. So on top of your iron supplement, not on top of your iron supplement, this should be the main thing that you should be focused on eating, and then the iron supplement can just add on if there's any deficiency, which there will be. Right, so half of your plate is green leafy veg, and then a quarter of it is your protein and healthy fats. Healthy fat is coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil, organic if possible, but not everything needs to be organic, right? Coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, what's that? Fish oil. Yeah, correct. So these are the main oils that you should be focusing on as a pregnant mom, right? Those oil that used to goreng ikan, goreng keropok, that one, the vegetable oil, that one is not healthy oil. Anyway, you should reduce your fried food intake also, right? So coconut oil, olive oil, fish oil. These are the main 3 oils that are very healthy. And then avocado oil. The canola, safflower, sunflower, soybean oil, they are not actually, good quality oils. It's just marketing lah. If you want to eat, you take lah. But then mostly is the oils that I mentioned, right? So then the other quarter, you have fruit, which you as a pregnant mom should take about two servings a day. So maybe 2 fruits, and rotate the fruits, because every single fruit has different properties to help you. Some are good for your eyes, some good for your bones, some good for your skin, good for your heart. So you cannot like every day I take apple. Cannot. Change. Rotate, right? Citrus fruits, foods that have a lot of fats, like avocado and all that, right? Rotate. Make it like there's a variety, or what we call a rainbow of fruits. Yeah. And then the other part is your starchy veg, your rice and all that. Rice is gluten free, so don't be afraid to take rice. Macam alamak, people say I must take brown rice. Take lah white rice, basmati rice, good what? Why cannot? Right? So calorie to calorie, white rice and brown rice is about the same, except that brown rice has more fiber and then B vitamins. So go and take white rice. White rice is good, what? Why cannot? But better to take basmati, and of course better take brown rice. But mix up, right? No, there's nothing. Don't make haram what is halal. Okay, just I haramkan sugar je, itu je. Yeah, next. Right, so first trimester nutrition, again, like I said, 6 months before you get pregnant, you should actually address your deficiencies and eat well. Right, so people say, Alamak, I have this nausea, and some have a very severe form of nausea, which is you're vomiting throughout the whole pregnancy. Right, so actually the cause of it is that you have a potassium deficiency. So if you can, address your potassium deficiency, and then you can, this talk is very fast, very quick. So you go ahead and Google what are the potassium sources, and then go ahead and eat that, right? And then you find that your nausea actually abates. Right, so folate for brain development, the neural tube development for the baby, right? Folate and folic acid, again, two different things. The folic acid is the pill that the doctor gives you, but actually the main thing that you need to take for your baby's brain and neural tube development is folate, not folic acid. Right, so two different things. So go Google sources of folate, eat that. It's all food. Right, and then after that you can whatever top up with your folic acid that doctor gives you. Right, and then first trimester exercise is no impact, right? But again, this depends on whether you have been doing what you're doing before your pregnancy. Let's say if you have been running and you're a runner, and then then you get pregnant, you find out you get pregnant, right? Then people say, hey, you shouldn't run, wait, this, but you have been running for, I don't know, for past 3 to 5 years, and you have been running while you think you were not pregnant, and then you were not conscious that you're pregnant, you're still running and nothing happened to you. Go ahead and continue doing what you were doing. Just don't increase the activity, right? For those who have never run in their whole life, don't start running. Don't think, people say this is good, I must do this, right? Exercise, if you were doing it, right, you can scale down a bit, but you shouldn't be stopping whatever that you were doing just because you're pregnant, right? Continue with whatever that you were doing because it was good for you. That's sometimes how you got pregnant in the first place. Like some people say, Alma, I'm trying hard to conceive, but I wasn't able to conceive. So then I start exercising because husband and I have been putting on weight. Then both of us lose weight. Then suddenly I find that I'm pregnant. Yeah, correct like that. Because you were actually optimizing your health, you were eating right, you lost weight, your hormones balanced out. That's why you got pregnant. So carry on with the exercise that you were doing and just don't increase. If you think that you have a history of miscarriages and all that, then you have to be a bit more cautious, and then scale down your activity maybe 50%, just because you have an obstetric history of multiple miscarriages and all that. Then you should be a bit more aware and be more cautious. But for those who don't have, then you just carry on with whatever. And don't, let people tell you that, alamak, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Again, if listen to your body, right? So first, but as a general rule, first trimester, the first 3 months, right? You don't do any impact. Usually I say just walk, no need to run if you're not a runner, of course, because the placenta is trying to plant itself in your womb. Once the first 3 months is over, the placenta is actually very well embedded. Then after that, you can do a bit more strenuous exercise. Yeah. And then again, focus on folate. Ginger helps with the vomiting, and then vitamins, of course, to help with your immunity. right? So vitamins, a lot of vitamins in fruits. So go ahead and eat the fruits. If you feel any craving for sweets, just reach out for a fruit. Fruits are sweet, right? Just don't take a lot durian every day. Durian agak-agak lah. Because I hantu durian, so when I was pregnant, I took about 20 biji durian, not the small ulas, the big one, 20 of them whack. But yeah, don't follow. Just eat a lot of fruits and rainbow of fruits. Okay, next. Okay, so second trimester, now the baby is growing. So the first trimester, the baby cells were multiplying. So now you have your baby, formed, and then now the baby is going to get a lot from you. So the thing is, our bodies will prioritize the baby's health over the mom. So whatever, vitamins, minerals, whatever that all the good stuff in your body is going to go to the baby, and the baby is going to grow well, inshallah, but then you will fall deficient, right? The baby will not fall deficient. You will. So you will feel tired, you will feel aching, you will feel loss of energy. All this, it's not because Allah pasal aku pregnant that's why biasalah pregnant is like that, tired. No, actually pregnant tak biasa tired. You're tired because you're deficient. You're tired because your iron is low. You're tired because your vitamins are low. Your potassium, your magnesium, your zinc is low. When you correct these deficiencies, you will find that your pregnancy is actually very energetic. In fact, Allah has made us pregnant women um, to such an optimal health extent that we pregnant women are like athletes. Our bodies are so healthy during pregnancy that we are akin to an athletic state. But you don't know that, because everybody thinks that a pregnant woman is like a sick woman. So, if you really read up on how the body adaptation to pregnancy with increased lung function, lung capacity, increased, blood capacity, blood volume, the heart is pumping better, is actually you're in an athletic state. So it's a mashallah thing to be pregnant, right? So, but because of all the deficiencies that you have, that's why you have this ache lah, this pain lah, tak boleh jalan lah, cannot walk, or all these things. So these are all deficiencies, right? So keep your blood sugar stable by eating the food that is a slow release of energy. So foods that are high in fiber, they release the sugar slowly, rather than you eat pure sugar, like pastries and cakes and all that. They give you a sugar high and a sugar crash, unlike fruits or veggies that will give you a stable sugar release throughout the day, so you feel energetic throughout. So it's not as if I'm pregnant, then I always feel weak. So you kind of have to look at the food that you eat, that is actually a slow release of energy rather than a quick burst and a quick crash, right? So the healthy fats, the iron, so all these things are good lah, right? So address your deficiencies. And then during exercise, if you look at that note there, use rate of perceived exertion during exercise. Okay, so everybody's rate of perceived exertion is different. If for me, right, if I perceive that this exercise is easy for me, maybe it's a 3 over, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this exercise for me? So maybe this is a 3 over 10. But my 3 over 10 may be your 7 over 10. So everybody has to ask themselves, for example, I climb this overhead bridge. Wow, this feels so breathless for me. It's about 7 over 10. Then you keep it to there. Don't push yourself to climb up and down the bridge 10 times. So you climb one time, go the other side, right? So, and a pregnant woman should aim for a maximum of 8 over 10 rate of perceived exertion. You don't go 9 or 10 over 10. That is a bit too hard for a pregnant woman. So you tell yourself, okay, I keep it to about 7 to 8 over 10, and that's it. So this is a good guideline for the moms in terms of, should I push myself? I don't know whether I should push myself more. Maybe I should exercise more. Maybe I should exercise less. You ask yourself your RPE, your rate of perceived exertion. And then if it's too easy, 3/10, 5/10 is nothing. You can up a bit more lah now. So everybody can use this, individual scale, right? And then in the second trimester, focus on your aerobic exercise and your core strength. Your core muscles are your abdomen, your stomach, your back muscles, and your pelvic muscles. So this will actually help to eliminate a lot of the back pain, this pain, aches and pains, and pelvic pain and all that. Okay, next. Okay, so this is a safe guideline for everybody, right? Avoid the risk of falling, low impact activities, right? So no Muay Thai for everyone, right? No hitting, right? Yoga, and then so stay hydrated. Okay, this is very important. I want to say that a lot of women are not drinking enough, right? Dehydration is a very big issue among us. And then a lot of women actually don't like plain water. So you actually have to fulfill at least about 2.5 liters of fluids per day, at least, right? If you can get 3, that would be good. And then especially if you're exercising and you're exercising under the hot sun and all that, that should be between 3 to 4 liters a day. So depending, but minimum you shouldn't fall below 2.5 liters of fluids. So from these 2.5 liters of fluids, you can divide your plain water, maybe 1.5. If you like all of them plain water, okay, why not? If you hate plain water, then jazz up your water by putting in fruits or squeeze a lemon inside. You can just drop any fruit inside, a strawberry, orange, whatever fruit inside the water, right? Shake it up a bit, you have flavored water. No need to buy bubble tea, all these things tak payah. Don't. Even if you add honey to your water, it's still added sugar lah. But you can, just a tiny little bit. Or you can put, your favorite fruit. So usually it's the fruit lah. It's called infused water, right? Okay, so next. Right, so third trimester nutrition, in the last part of your pregnancy, that sometimes when you get a lot tired, then you really need to have more vitamins, to keep you energetic and all that. And then some women, they do experience constipation. Constipation is an issue because of, again, shortfall of water, and then not enough moving around, your exercise, and also not enough fiber in your diet. So if you can get the enough water, the enough exercise, the enough fiber in your diet, usually you won't experience constipation. And also constipation, the part of it is that you're stressed. So if you stress also, very hard to poop. So then, yeah, correct. So then, your stress levels. We'll talk about the stress levels later. Okay, the third trimester is a time where you will be tested for this thing called Group B Streptococcus. So GBS is a bacteria that is more to vaginal infection. So the doctor will do kind of a swab there to test for this, because this GBS, the Group B Streptococcus bacteria, can actually infect your baby during your birth, and then causing the baby to lungs and the brain to be infected. So it's not good for you. So I would always suggest the mummies to supplement with probiotics. So you can get probiotics are actually bacteria. So you say, yeah, Kak, easy like that I drink Yakult. Actually tak lah. Yakult is actually a sugary drink for kids. The level of bacteria in Yakult is very, very low, right? So if you want to make your own Yakult, which I encourage, right? Put yogurt inside your blender. Then you can put water or you can put milk. It's up to you. And then maybe you put a fruit in, and then you blend it, and then it becomes like a probiotic drink. And that's why a lot of the Indians, especially our foreign workers, they every day take the yogurt, with their rice. That is actually a daily probiotic. That's why they're very healthy. They can carry heavy things and make our houses and all this. So it's very healthy for everyone, right? So every day take a probiotic. So probiotics are bacteria in the food. So yogurt, then kimchi, then what else? You think that is fermented food? Tempeh, um, you know, uh, um, the Malays actually have tempoyak and whatever, but nobody eats that nowadays. So yogurt is actually very easy. And if you really want easy, you don't like all this, I don't like yogurt, whatever, then you can buy probiotics from either the pharmacy, or I get a lot of my supplements from iHerb. So you get a probiotic from let me see whether I have or not. Okay, I just show you the probiotic that you can see, not. This is what I'm taking actually, right? You have other probiotics, but I've been taking this, so it's good. I'm taking this for a couple of years, and then rotate your probiotics so that you get different strains and then different CFUs. That means the concentration is quite high. And if you are a pregnant woman, your probiotic should be in the billions, not millions. That would be good, right? So you see that, right? And on top of that, climbing stairs and hills. So that's why we go up and down Mount Faber. I bring the pregnant mummies to climb Mount Faber to Hot Park, then back again. Is very good for your core muscles, and it will help you to push the baby very effectively and well, right? And on top of that, again, you have to do, especially starting from your 21st week, you have to start with your calming and breathing exercises, because this is the main thing that will help you negotiate your labor and to have medication-free labor and birth, if that is your goal lah. If you think, oh, I want natural birth, I don't want drugs, I don't want epidural, then you will have to do all these things from your 21st week, especially every single day you do your breathing practice, right? Like I said, starting from inhalation, 4 seconds inhale, then 2 seconds pause, and then a 6 seconds exhalation. In fact, all these I teach in class. So if you want, then you can come for class, can come for birth class, then you can learn all this, right? So it's very important to do this, and then you are very calm during your labor and birth. Okay, next. Right, 3 tips for good labor and mental health. So actually this mental health thing should be not because of postpartum, it throws up your mental health issues, because postpartum is post strenuous activity after 9 months and then after birth. Then from there, you are kind of highlighted into seeing that this person has depression. But actually, this person did not have depression in postpartum. The depression has been kind of like a low level throughout. And then this person did not address the issues, and then it's heightened during the postpartum phase. For example, anxiety. Like some women are very anxious during the pregnancy. They say, Mak, how about this? How about that? I don't know whether I'm enough. I'm good enough as a mom. I don't know how to take care of this kid. I don't know this. I don't have enough support. So they have a lot of anxiety issues. And sometimes they have this thing called childhood traumas. I have had clients who have had childhood traumas or family traumas, and then they have low self-esteem, they have fears, they have anxieties. I have had women with a history of abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse from their families. They have had toxic marriages. They have a lot of either childhood trauma or adult trauma. So before that, you kind of like, never mind, I just don't want to think about it, right? And then after that, when you give birth, and then all your fears and anxieties come up because you are in a situation where you're not very sure how to take care of this baby, and then the baby keep crying, and then you're so stressed, and then you are overwhelmed, right? So my advice during pregnancy is that unpack a bit of your trauma, unpack a bit of what has happened to you, right? And try to resolve some of it, your trauma resolution, if you can, right? Because this is very relevant to because you are actually moving forward into a new phase of your life as a mom. You will have added responsibilities, uh, with your child, and your child will make you very anxious. The child is a blessing, but the child is also a tyrant. We're going to take up a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. And if you are not settled in your mind and your heart, you will actually not be able to cater to a young, needy tyrant like your child. So, do some fear resolution. Ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? What happened before? How can I help myself to resolve this? And don't let people, dah this thing is long time already. I just forget it lah. Go on lah. I actually hate people who say that to me. Uh, they said, no, it's not okay. It's not like I can just forget about it, right? I have to work through it. You have to unpack slowly why, and then after that, how, and then do the work that helps you to resolve it, rather than push it aside, push it under the carpet, and then think, I don't want to think about it lah. These are all in the past. You know what? It's gonna come up again and again and again. So look at it and be brave, and then solve it. Right? There are ways in which to solve it. There are techniques. So you have to do this, right? So the good labor and with the mental health, attend birth class. So again, like Ustazah Shameem said, people said, why you need to learn so much? Orang dulu beranak biasa apa? Rasa macam nak berak, pergi hospital berak beranak. Like, this is so simplistic, right? It's not that easy for some people. If it was that easy, we would not have a 40 to 45% Caesar rate in Singapore right now. So that is how high our cesarean rates are. Well, when WHO is actually, saying that just about 15 to 20% should be the Caesar rate. But the Caesar rate in Singapore is very high. So why is it like that? Right? Has our women forgot how to give birth? But then there are many, many factors contributing to the high Caesar rate, right? Among them, interventions, also an environment, also, our nutrition, exercise, everything. It's a lot of factors. But the thing is that if you can get yourself into a good birth class, then you will have a lot of information to make your informed decision, right? Get legit advice. Not say people say this, people say that, like Ustazah Shameem say, engkau asal kau macam ni, asal kau that. Don't do this, right? People can give you advice, but sometimes most of the time, the advice is coming from their own personal experience, not from them as a caregiver, not from them as a professional, but from them as their own experience. So when people advise you, you look at it not as them advise you, but they are saying from their own personal experience. So you say, I hear you, right? This is your experience. I hear it. I will take it into account, but it may not be right for me, right? So, get yourself into a legit birth class from people who are, trained professionals, so that they can give you the proper advice. So then you can go back to your own family and tell them, you know what, Mak, the class say that I should drink water during my postpartum. Because again, one of the myth and misconception is when you have given birth, this is the Malay thing, don't drink so much, wait, your perut kembung, your stomach, don't know what lah, bloated or what. Cannot. You shouldn't drink plain water, wait, your stomach bloated. Right? So this is a misconception, because you need a lot of fluids in order to produce milk. If you don't drink water, then your milk supply will go down, Then you say, alamak, kau dah tak ada susu. Lagi satu problem. Right? Then you have another person, kau tak ada susu lah, kau tak boleh. And then I have even a mom saying to her daughter, our family women are not breastfeeders. Right? Mak pun tak ada susu. I didn't have milk. This one sister also don't have milk. I'm sure you also don't have milk. And my client is now still breastfeeding her child. So, it's again, they have misconceptions. So again, even your own mom or your mother-in-law can give you wrong advice. Again, they are not bad people. Everybody advise so because they want, to have a good outcome for you. They love you. So take it positively. But then take it also that they are talking from their own personal experience, not from a professional experience. Yeah. So and then continue your training of knowledge into how to care for a baby, into breastfeeding, into postpartum, into first aid for babies and children. So continue to update your knowledge and all that. I know that when you are pregnant, everything you think about, you're focusing on the birth, but you will find that after the birth, then what you don't know anything. So read a lot, right? Read a lot on the birth, the pregnancy, the labor, the birth, the postpartum, the childcare, everything, right? And then again, for good labor and good mental health, get the support. Give a positive environment for yourself. Here's the thing, right? Tell yourself, I'm protecting my space. Yeah, I'm protecting my space from people who are threatening to give me bad vibes and negative vibes and negative energy. So protect your space, right? When people start talking about negative stuff, right, not say you don't want to hear on the other side what can go wrong, right? But for the most part, 70% of your information should be positive, right? Instead of listen to this negative, this one say this one say that, like, oh lama, you cannot, boleh ke kau be back, kau tak boleh lah, whatever, right? So these are all things that are going to affect your mental health. And when you are pregnant, you are very, very sensitive, not just in our bodies but in our hearts and our minds. And every little thing, when we were not pregnant, we can just brush it aside, apa merepek ah. But when you are pregnant, you really, really are affected by it. So 70% of your environment should be positive, and then the rest of it is you can't help it, right? And if the person is close to you and is toxic, remove yourself or remove that person from your life, or minimize the interaction so that you are not going to be negatively affected from then on, right? Calm. A person cannot be happy all the time. That's impossible. But you can choose to be calm about it, right? And part of what Ustazah Shameem said, look at it from a positive point of view. Right? Everything is good. So, accept that it's a good thing, and then you calm yourself, right? Even if the environment is very stressed and all that, you are able to be calm, right? To achieve happiness, most of the time, that's not possible lah. But you can be calm a lot of the time, right? And then support means your birth team. So who are your team? Your doctors, the hospital, your husband is your main team partner, your parents, and everybody else will help you to give birth and to support your postpartum. So get it together now, right? Who is going to help me? So maybe your part-time cleaning lady will be your team. Maybe your mother-in-law a little bit can be your team. So surround yourself and then get the team ready. Maybe have a team meeting and then tell everybody what your roles are and then how I want to be supported, right? So for some people, this is not easy for them because they have never thought that they are important. They have never regard themselves as the main player in their lives. It's always catering to somebody else, right? Especially those who have a lot of empathy. They like to serve people. Like all of you are very empathic person, right? Empathetic people. Sometimes people with a high level of empathy, they don't really think of themselves as important. So look at yourself as very, very important. You are pregnant, you are not the main player. So everybody else has to cater to you, right? So, what are their roles? How can they help me? Because you know what? You are the most important person here. Without you, everything can fall apart. Your baby needs you, your husband needs you, your family needs you. So you are so, so important, right? So, look at yourself as very important, and then surround yourself with the team that is going to support you, because you are going to support a lot of them. Okay, good. Right. So, and then good mental health and a good labor is release, right? Part of it also like release, like what Ustazah Shameem said, release all the outcome as in Allah determines the outcome. So don't hold on too tight to the outcome in the sense that I want my V back at all costs, because that is going to be a very high cost and a high risk for you if you're going to hold on too strongly to that, right? Release it, release the outcome to, accept that it is Allah that determines outcome. And I am just trying my best. If I try my best and it happens, right, then Alhamdulillah. But if I try my best and it doesn't happen, doesn't mean wasted. Ni kali aku tak nak buat lah. Aku buat pun tak menjadi. Some of them said to me, I exercise also, I didn't achieve a normal birth. So that means the exercise is useless. Is the exercise useless? No, the exercise is not useless. The exercise already has many multiple benefits to you. But you didn't achieve your goal. So how is that possible? The thing is that Allah determines outcome. So accept that, and then forgive and seek forgiveness. This one is very, very important. I had one mummy recently asked me about her breech baby that is refusing to turn and all that. I said one of the main things you need to do is to seek forgiveness, and then the main thing is to forgive yourself, right? A lot of us are not forgiving of ourselves. We always think that we are not good enough. Aku tak bagus ni. I did this wrong. I did that wrong. I cock up so much, and then you just don't forgive yourself. So forgive yourself, and then seek forgiveness, right? And then forgive people who don't deserve to be forgiven. That's very important, right? These people don't deserve to be forgiven. They don't deserve your forgiveness. Forgive them because you are actually benefiting yourself. You're not benefiting them. You forgive them also, they don't care because they still carry on with their attitude. But you forgive them for yourself, right? Release your mind and your heart from this. And then you actually have a good labor and good mental health after that. Right? Again, trauma resolution, fear release, and then communicate. Communicate with your husband, especially he needs to know. And some women they are shy. Maybe they think this is not right to say. If you can't communicate with your partner, then who can you communicate with, right? But of course, you have to frame it in a kind way, especially men, right? Ego stuff, right? So you have to frame it in a kind way, but communicate and be transparent and be authentic with your feelings so that your partner understands, and then he can help you, right? And then all your birth team can help you. So that's very important. And I hope I didn't exceed the time. Next slide. Next slide. Right, so this is the end. And then may Allah SWT bless your pregnancy. And may you have a smooth labor, birth, and postpartum. Amin. For those who are trying to conceive, may Allah bless your efforts, and may you have righteous children. Amin. Inshallah.
Amin, inshallah. Thank you so much, Sis Fadillah, Yusope. I think again that is also packed with tips and information. I like how Dula, Sis Fadillah Yusope was touching on, sometimes I'm guilty of it. When we are pregnant, we tend to give excuses. I'm tired, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. I was like that also. But then when she mentioned we are actually in the athletic state, right? So maybe after this, our expecting mothers who are watching us right now can go to Mount Faber after this, up and about. And I really like also how you say about respecting yourself by creating your own positive circle. I think that's very, very, very important, especially to our expecting mothers. All right. To And now I'm wasting more time. We have some Q&A. Firstly, inshallah, our first questions will be directed to Ustazah Shameem. Okay. So the first one that we have here, is it normal for me to feel down and away from Allah and even away from my newborn child right after giving birth?
Okay, thank you, Saza and Shira. I think that's a very important question. It's actually very normal. It's actually very normal. Some birth, when you, like my fourth one, after I give birth, I feel very close to Allah. Okay. My first one, after I give birth, I feel very miserable, especially the first. I'm saying when you are like very confused and all that. So there was a time like what I said. After a few days, I got a fever. When Nafisa didn't want to stop to cry, I actually felt like want to take her and just throw her away. I felt that okay, it's a very real feeling at that split of moment. I dah macam, cannot take it. I just feel like that moment I cannot handle it anymore. So I think it's a very real feeling. My husband was saying, "You sure you want to share this to people?" I said, "Yes, it's a normal feeling. It's not like oh Ustazah tak ada feeling macam gitu. No, it's a normal feeling." And I think what really and then my daughter had jaundice. When had jaundice, it affected me. I start reading on the internet, then start to, overthinking lah, apa lah, this kind of thing. Then people start saying my daughter is like that because of me, what I eat. She turned out like that because of this. People just scream. So it will feel very, very down, very far. And of course, because you cannot pray at that time, it makes things even worse. So what I can suggest is have that zikir. Solat is something you cannot do after you give birth. Zikir is something you can do even after you give birth. Have it with you. Hold on to it. Macam that's why Rabbi Yasir wala tu asir, Rabbi Yasir wala tu asir. Something easy that you can really read and internalize. Allah, make it easy for me. Ya Allah, make it easy. Allah, you are with me. Allah, you are with me. So this zikir has to be with you. So it's normal to feel far, and every time you feel far after you give birth and all that, have this zikir with you. Internalize that zikir, feel that Allah is with you, ask Allah to pull up, semangatkan, give me that, only Allah can give you that strength back. So I think it's normal. So you always have to have this zikir. If you want to depend on your solat, a lot of people tell me, I cannot pray, ya Ustazah, I feel far. Yes, but you can do zikir. That's what you should do. Okay, Allah Alam.
Moving on to our second question, directed to our Sis Fadillah. Just now you mentioned about breastfeeding, right? How our mothers say, "Oh, I have no milk lah," so you confirm got no milk. So is it true that is there such thing as, "Oh, I have no milk supply, I cannot breastfeed"?
Mm-mm.
And what is your advice to struggling mothers with breastfeeding, with engorgement, with nipple crack, right after giving birth, they are facing this another set of challenges. So what advice can you give to them, to our mothers?
Okay. Right. Again, we have resources like the Breastfeeding Mother Support Group. But here's the thing about breastfeeding. It is actually important to get somebody to show you. Well, the helpline is there. You can talk to the volunteers and all that. But the main thing about breastfeeding is breastfeeding in action. So before you give birth, try and find people who are breastfeeding, who are currently breastfeeding. Go to them, talk to them, and if they are willing, especially, can I see you breastfeed or not? And then get this information. Don't wait until you already give birth and then you are struggling with breastfeeding and then you try to find somebody. At that time, you are struggling with not just breastfeeding, you're struggling with a lot of issues. Yeah, so during your pregnancy, find people who you can see breastfeeding in action and then get them to be your mentors, right? So we are actually, with the Breastfeeding Muslim Mother Support Group, Hatim and everyone else, we are always, advocating on trying to get a community going on helping each other breastfeed. I myself also do house visits to help women with engorgement, with all the other breastfeeding issues, because we need to have somebody there to show you, right? Pertaining to your question on whether it is true that some people cannot breastfeed, yes, there are some people who have very little breast tissue that can make milk. So there's a very, very small percentage of women who cannot breastfeed, but for the majority of women, they can. It's just that they lack information. Number two, they lack the mentor, the person who can actually help them troubleshoot. So the breast is actually need troubleshooting. So just like any other equipment, you need to troubleshoot, and then the person has to come and troubleshoot it, whether it is a blocked duct, whether it is a trash problem, whether it is a flow problem, whether it is nipple confusion. There's a lot of issues. Breastfeeding itself is like, a couple of classes worth of it. But the thing is, we kind of find somebody during your pregnancy. Find not just somebody, a couple of people that you can learn breastfeeding from in action, and that will help, inshallah.
Right. I think the most important thing is for us ourselves to reach out to the community to help.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our second question to Ustazah Shameem. I think this is one thing that I can relate also. I mean, now in hospitals, sometimes we cannot choose our gynae, right? So it's a concern also to our Muslim women. Should I choose a female gynae over a male one? Or it's fine to have a male gynae?
Okay. All right. From the Islamic perspective, it's there are orders that you have to follow. The first one is we should always put priority as a Muslimah gynae lah. That should be our priority. This is in fiqh, so whatever we say, we have to go back to fiqh. It's a Muslimah gynae, which is quite. I think now compared to my time 10 years ago, there are more now Muslimah gynae. I even had Dr. Chitra for my last two births. Dr. Chitra Mata, awesome, really awesome. Come to me, Bismillah, Shameem, how are you? I really love it. Like the vibes is good. Vibe is very great. And so Muslimah gynae, you can use that. The second one is of course a female gynae, but not a Muslimah. Okay, now if you can't find any lady gynae, okay, and this is because some of them actually came to me and said I have a certain issue. This issue I have to go to this gynae. Okay, of course I don't want to probe further lah. Okay, whatever your issue is, you think that is best for you. Then the third one will be a Muslim gynae, a male gynae who is a Muslim. The fourth one is a non-Muslim but is a male gynae. So this is the order that we have. So you can follow this order. So try to find lah Muslimah gynae. There's a lot there. And then you followed by the non-Muslimah gynae. Depends on your situation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can I add a bit?
Sure.
Yeah. Also, I do agree 100% with Ustazah Shameem. But also again, in terms of your birth goals, that should also be a big factor. What if you had a female gynae, maybe a Muslimah female gynae who is not pro-natural, and then you have a male non-Muslim gynae who is pro-natural. So that is also another question as to whether, will this person support my goals, or is just I am taking this person because they're Muslim. So you also have to go back to what my goals are, and if this person can support me in my goals, and because my goals are important to me, because again the goals are lillahi ta'ala, right? Then I will choose it based on my goals also.
Yes, that's very true actually, because I've met another Muslimah gynae which made fun of me, and I didn't have a good experience with her. So I chose a non-Muslim one for my second one because of that. So it doesn't have to be I have to stick with her because she's a Muslimah. No.
Correct.
Sometimes you know that she's not on the same page as you. Okay, then you have to move on. Unless you get the Muslimah that is really your goal, macam Dr. Chitra, then go ahead lah.
The full package lah.
The full package.
InsyaAllah.
It's important to just now Dula was saying your birth team has to be very strong, right? And they are in line with your goals, plans, and all those kind of stuff. Right, coming to my last question to Dula. Okay, all of us right now in Singapore, we have to go through this glucose test, right?
Yeah.
How is it really a need for this glucose test, or we can opt it out during our pregnancy?
Okay, again, for me personally, for my first one, especially because it's the first, and then you want to go for all those tests, determine this, determine that. But for my number 3 and number 4, I didn't, because again, these things depend on the history, your family history. Let's say your family history, you have like your mom or direct family that has diabetes, right? So probably you might have the genes, the genetics for it. So you might want to test yourself. But if let's say your family doesn't have, and then the next one is how is your nutrition? How's your nutritional status? Okay, you have to be honest with yourself lah. Am I whacking all the sugar? Right. I see myself, I eat a lot of sugar and this and that. Then perhaps you might want to test, right? Then I highly encourage. But if your diet is like what I have advised, which is, plant-based, healthy, whole food nutrition, then usually your health would be quite good lah. Then you may want to opt out from the test, right? But for all first-time couples, I would advise get tested, right? After that, and you look at your diet and all that, you see how you are progressing, then maybe you can opt out. For me, I opt out because the thing is I'm really confident about myself, right? I exercise a lot, I am very cognizant of my nutrition, so I'm okay with opting out from it. So again, comes back to you. You ask yourself, be honest about your health status, and then if you want to opt out, you opt out. Like some people, they want to opt out. I don't want to take all these tests, but then on the other hand, you're not doing the work. Like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That last one, actually, I can see a comment here in our Facebook.
Yeah.
We have a viewer saying, today I learned a new word, doula. Doula is bidan, right? Or more of bidan concierge.
Bidan concierge. Bagus say that's a new term. Doula is a Greek word for birth helper.
A companion, is it?
A companion, yeah. So a doula is mostly about emotional, physical support, and also informational support. It's just that I have a medical background, so that is a plus point. But not necessary for doulas to have medical background. It's just that it's an advantage. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
Just want to add. I think there's no time lah. There's so many things to talk about, right? But I think I just want to focus on the husbands here. Husbands here, I think when you are in a jama'ah, the husband is the imam, the wife is the makmum. During pregnancy and giving birth, the wife is the captain lah. Okay, the husband is there, but you need to be there moving as a jama'ah. But I think be the spokesperson. Kadang-kadang in-laws and parents can be a bit overwhelming. The husband must be there to stand firm. Okay, no mak, she's okay, she's gini. Baru give birth, mak suruh buat ni, nanti wait, nak buat function lah. Sekarang tak ada function kan, bagus juga ada ni. So all this kind of thing. So be there, you are standing for your wife lah. I think you should always be there, because when I want to give birth, for example, I was very firm. First, second, I takut. Third, fourth, I told my husband, off your phone, I don't want anyone to call me. I want my own time. I want to labor at my own time. I tak nak siapa-siapa kat sini. So he understand, and he make sure that nobody disturb me. He create that safe space for me.
Yes.
So
Good.
yeah, I think husbands, you play a very important role. Jangan dia punya pregnant, dia punya pasal. No. You are there in the jama'ah. You are involved. So I think you play a very important part, not a part which is smaller, because without the makmum, the imam doesn't have the pahala jama'ah. So without you, husband, the woman actually is the alone captain. This is a jama'ah. It's a teamwork. You need to be there for your wife. You mean a lot. Okay, wallahu a'lam.
Yeah. And I also like to add that women, when you want to ask that help from your husband, you also have to be very clear on what you want or how he needs to support you. Because some women, I find they know what they don't want. Right? I don't want this, I don't want that. But when you ask them, so what do you want? Tak tahu, right? Like I ask you, Shameem, today you want to eat what? But I don't like mi goreng. Yeah, then we want to eat what? Right. So you kind of have to know, exactly how. So get that in your mind first. List out what you want, write it down or whatever that makes you clear-headed, and then you can tell your husband, you know what? This is how I would like you to best support me. And then husbands can actually do it really well. Husbands, they're usually, the husbands that come for class, and the husbands that I have met, overwhelming majority of them, they want to help their wives, but they don't know how, right? So we kind of have to get them to be knowledgeable on the how, right? And then they can do it, then they do it really well. They exceed themselves. Alhamdulillah.
we play a part lah. We always play a role. So, right, thank you so much, Ustazah Shameem and Sis Fadillah for the very insightful and valuable sharing session. I believe not only the expecting mothers, but all mothers, future mothers, husbands, trying to conceive mothers could benefit from today's talk, inshallah. So before I end, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our viewers for joining us. If you are an expecting mother anxiously waiting to meet your little one, I pray that may Allah ease it for you from your pregnancy till the parenthood journey afterwards, inshallah. And if there is our trying to conceive sisters that is here with us also today, may Allah reward your patience and bless you with happiness and fulfillment in the best form, inshallah. Thank you so much. I apologize for any shortcomings from our side. With that, I end today's talk with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Over to you, Ustazah Farhana.
Alhamdulillah, we have listened and learned a lot from our both speakers. Inshallah, some part of when Ustazah Shameem is speaking as well as Sis Fadillah is speaking, my, I don't know, I feel something, like, wow, it's just so mashallah, yeah. So really, thank you so much for sharing your really precious knowledge and your time given this time during this day. I know you can be there. Sis Fadillah can be resting, cycling. So can be like resting, playing with her kids.
That's the talk after this, right?
Time to us. So I really appreciate. And let me take this chance again to also thank Ustazah Inshira for being our moderator. Beautifully done. Alright, so with this, we really hope to meet again in our upcoming programs future, inshallah. So we will end with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-As. Okay, we shall meet again, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.